Futureland, the laboratory of the future. Have you ever dreamt of living on another planet to explore new worlds out of our solar system? Well, this was actually a premise of Futurelands, which was a place in the graphic novel Terminus, and a skyscraper that Puig Vallis and his team stumbled into. French name, by the way. What was Futurelands exactly? Well, that's what we're about to find out. And welcome to another Lore Haven video. Thanks for stopping in. We're a channel dedicated to exploring and explaining the lore of some of our favorite movies and TV shows. So spoilers, if you haven't read the third graphic novel in the Snowpiercer series called Terminus, it's a rather fun read and has some interesting perspectives in it. Would highly recommend as a Snowpiercer fan. Let's start from the top. There's a lot to get into. So Puig Vallis and several other volunteers, they had traveled off of the Snowpiercer in order to find out where a transmission was coming from. In the last graphic novel, Explorers, they had discovered a mysterious radio signal. It was playing a song on a loop, and they decided to investigate to hopefully find electricity as the train was deteriorating. It was practically making living conditions unsustainable. So Puig and three others found where the source of the transmission was coming from. It was under a door leading to what was first thought of as a basement. Well, they quickly discovered that it wasn't a basement. It was a whole skyscraper, at least 42 floors high. They found an elevator shaft with no elevator and chose to descend because, well, I mean, what else are they going to do? Going back to the train wasn't exactly an option. So they start scaling the shaft and end up falling a few floors because the rope wasn't able to support three people at the same time. Once they recover, they realize they're on a ground floor and it's actually a train station. So they walk around looking for any signs of an entry for Snowpiercer to get into. They find a tunnel that's been covered with snow and ice, but it was actually thin enough for the train to break into. So Puig relays the information to the train and they agree it's their only chance for a new shelter. And one of Puig's team members, Tanya, activates the laser guides on the track for the train to use to get into the building. Snowpiercer travels full steam ahead, ramming into the ice wall, blocking the entrance to the tunnel. Everything goes black inside the train, and they stumble into the station, although taking damage from concrete from the collapsing structure blocking everything off after them. And Proloff, or who I think is Proloff, looks like the same person, driving the train, he says that Snowpiercer got pretty beat up and won't run again for weeks, if ever. So not really a great sign there. So they let everybody off the train and they spot Puig, who they believe is the savior for leading them to this place. But the newly elected president by the passengers, Laura Lewis, immediately starts on a speech about how they aren't saved, even though they're able to step on ground without freezing to death after years of being on the train. And she asks who's responsible for the new disaster they're in. When Councilor Brady gets brought up, he's a previous member of the council before and is asked to provide the answers. Now, obviously, he doesn't accept this. He denies to answer. He says that the president doesn't have any legal mandate. So this results in a rather violent outcome as Lewis allows the people to make a democratic decision, and they quite literally beat the Councilor Brady to death. And it's pretty graphic. Then after that, Lewis actually backtracks and says that's not what she wanted to happen under her presidency, and asks whether or not there's another alive council member. Well, it turns out Puig was part of the previous council, although it was forcefully, and he gets thrown into prison. Or like in the TV show, it's actually a drawer. Anyway, he busts out and we pan to everybody exploring the building, being enthralled with the magic of electricity, like automatic opening doors, escalators, everything being in perfect condition. They've never experienced that before. And then they come across a band of people wearing rat or mice masks who tell them they need to come with them or die. So obviously they go with them. They put the passengers from the train in a quarantine because they're contaminated or infected. Then they're asked to draw blood for a vaccine from the rat people. And of course there's hesitation from the crowd. So to combat this, President Lewis offers herself as the first volunteer. She volunteers a tribute, saying these people accommodate us, feed us, treat us. We can give them a little blood in exchange. And then someone in the back actually switches on a projector which displays a presentation of Futureland. The film shows a Futureland logo with a mouse face announcing they will become the pioneers of the future. So this skyscraper turns out to be a huge underground city that is the world's biggest laboratory, and that the researchers live there, and each week they bring in new citizens to settle and share humanity's biggest dream. We've got self-sufficient farming, water, air, electricity, heat, and light in deep space, or that's what the film showed anyway. Which is funny because in the previous graphic novel, I think it was The Escape, there were some religious fanatics that believed Snowpiercer was actually a spaceship, and I'll probably explore that in a later video. It's pretty funny. So anyway, they find out that this was not only a laboratory, but also an amusement park, and these switchmen, as they're called, they're part of a plan to integrate people from the outside into their society. They explained that there were jobs that people would be able to work and be able to be paid in a currency to live a life they wanted inside Futureland. It actually seemed like a way to return to regular life, right? Well, turns out the switchmen were more dark than the passengers realized. It came to be that they would use the radio transmission to lure outside trains to the building. And it was discovered that there were actually 10 perpetual trains, like Snowpiercer, of which Icebreaker was actually the last of the 7 that successfully reached the station. And it's further revealed that the switchmen neutered all of the mice and performed genetic experiments on fetuses and babies. This was in a misguided attempt to engineer a perfect human species. Yeah, crazy, but typical for Snowpiercer. So Futureland. Sounds great, right? Well, that's all I got for this video. Hope you enjoyed it and would greatly appreciate a like, which will help this video reach more fans like you, and subscribe for more videos on Snowpiercer and others if you'd like. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.